People, welcome back. This is part two of the intermediate chord vocabulary, and what we were talking about in the last section, we were talking about what type of chords to play over each tone. So in this one, I'm going to give you about two chords for each tone. We're going to go up to the fourth tone, and I'm going to give you chords for each of 1 through 4, okay? So the first one I showed you in the key of C was C, the bass in your left hand, of course, and then you have in your right hand C, E, G. Now, I'm going to give you a different chord to work with in your right hand. It's going to be, let's see what I'll give you. I'll give you a major 7, alright? So that means, okay, let me explain this. When you go beyond the 7th or the 8th note, you keep counting. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And that's where, I don't know if you've heard it, that's where you get your 11 chords or major 9 chords or your major 13 chords. That's where all of that comes from, okay? But that's more of the advance. So we're going to keep it a little intermediate right here. So the first chord on the 1, which is C in this key. In your right hand I gave you this, C, E, G, and then arpeggiate it. Just like that. Now I'm going to give you a major 7 chord. So it'll sound like this. 1, 3, 5, and then 6, 7. 1, 3, 5, 7. Just like that. So you have C, E, G, and then B. So it'll sound like that. It almost sounds like you would play it like in a love song or something like that. It has that type feel to it. Like you're walking on clouds or something like that. But okay, and here's another rule. Since you have C in your left hand bass and you have C right here in your right hand, you really can take this out, and so you can use it like this. Since you're holding it in your left hand, okay? And what you do is just arpeggiate it, or I'm inverting it. So you can invert it up or invert it down. I can invert it up right here, just like this. Excuse me. Just like that. Or, of course, arpeggiate it. Alright? So now you have a C major chord, and now you have a C major 7 chord. Okay? Now, the next chord I'm going to give you is going to be on the second tone, and it's going to sound like this. You have F, A, and C. Just like that. Excuse me. And if you notice, if you pay close attention, it's an F chord, an F major chord. It all intertwines, and I'm going to get into that in a further lesson. But this would be a minor, a D minor chord. So now you have this one, and now you have this one. And this is all to build your vocabulary up. So when you hear songs or you're playing songs, you can pick different types of chords to play with it. So say if you're getting tired of playing that chord right here, you can switch it up and play this chord to have a little, just something different for your toolbox, okay? Alright, moving right along. This chord, same thing, is a minor chord, so it's going to sound like this. I gave you this chord, but now I'm going to give you a diminished chord, so it's going to sound like this. So you have D, F, and then you have A flat. So this is A right here, the A natural, and what you do is flat it. You go take it back a half step, and it becomes A flat. And then B. So you have D, F, A flat, and B. In this, the 3 usually will move to the 6. So it'll sound something like this. But we'll go into, we'll connect the tones together in progressions, in chord progressions. So this is your 3rd chord. So far I've given you a C major 7, then I've given you a D minor chord, then I've given you E diminished. So now we're going to go into your 4 chord, and it's going to sound like this. It's going to be E, G, A, and C. One more time. E, G, A, and C. And then, of course, you're going to have the F in your bass. This is one of my favorite chords right here. You can arpeggiate it up, arpeggiate it down. Alright, so we'll go over the chords I've given you already. So C, I've given you a C7 chord. Then a D minor. Then a diminished in E. Then I've given you a chord on the F. E, G, A, C. And then what you can do is, for just a little side note, the 1 to the 4 is a very common progression. So you'll hear like, or you hear something like that. A lot of songs will do something like that. Okay, now I'm going to give you one more chord. I know I said 1 through 4, but I'm going to go to the 5 because there's a song I want to show you real quick. And just that. So here's one more. And it's simple. It's the same 5 chord that I showed you. Just like that. Five chords are pretty simple. Not too much. They're not complicated. It's just straightforward. The 5 will always, a lot of times the 5 will end your song. So like you're coming to the end, you know that's going to be the end. And then the 1 will always be your starting point of your of the song. 9 times out of 10, the 1 will always start your songs. That beginning. The 5 will end it, and the 1 will begin it. Alright, so simple song. I don't know if you've heard Lean On Me, but this is a pretty simple song. For an example, you have something like this. So, something like that. That's just an example. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2. And then remember, just another side note, the 1 will always go, or 9 times out of 10 will go to the 4. So you'll hear something. Alright, so your homework is to go over these chords. I hope you wrote them down. If you didn't and you just retained it, congratulations to you. You have a great mind. So just go over these chords, arpeggiate them, invert them, and just get familiar with them. So we're going to keep going, and we're going to hit up our next lesson, and we're going to go after the next lesson, we're going to go 5 to the 7. All right, so let's keep going.